What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that I love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, TV shows. If it's geeky, if it's nerdy, I love to talk about it right here. And right now, I want to give you guys my thoughts on yesterday's panel for the Suicide Squad. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch this trailer. It's not really a trailer, more of like a sneak peek trailer. We're going to watch this. I have already seen it. But we're going to watch it together, and then we're going to talk about some of my thoughts about the Suicide Squad. So let's go ahead and watch this, and then we'll chat a little bit.
I think it's going to surprise people.
You kind of sit there and go, how did they do that?
It's going to be different from any superhero movie ever made.
Polka Dot Man. Love it.
There's no one better in the world to direct.
I love the voice of Peacemaker. John Cena's Peacemaker. It just looks.
I was excited with an opportunity to be able to do the Suicide Squad in the way it could be done from my point of view.
This one is completely unique. This is a gritty 1970s war movie combined with brilliance of James Gunn's characters and comedy.
You need your director to set the vibe.
The Suicide Squad is just a twisted fantasy of characters.
Within each of our characters, there's a certain beauty. Within most of them.
So cool.
Some of them are just pretty crappy through and through.
Be like a douchey Captain America.
The guy who believes in peace at any cost, no matter how many people he needs to kill along the way.
Okay, I got it.
Don't ever settle back like you think you know where this is going, because you don't. As soon as you have some sense about what's about to happen next, James comes.
I love the look of Harley in this movie. Harley just looks cool in this. He's very Arkham inspired.
Everyone's exploding. Genitals, heads, arms, legs.
It's like a big, massive graphic novel brought to life.
Bloodsport, by the way. Idris Elba's Bloodsport. Who saw that?
Far the biggest movie I've ever made.
See King Shark?
That you know what to expect. Don't get too attached.
This has been truly the greatest, most exciting journey of my life making this film. God, that was great.
All right, let's talk about this. First of all, I love how deep James Gunn went into the DC Universe roster, right? These are like not even C characters. These are D, F level characters. These are bottom of the barrel characters that he is going to bring new life to. And now we're going to see these characters start to pop up in the comics. I promise you, we're going to see Polka Dot Man pop up in the comics. We're going to see Ratcatcher start to pop up more. We're going to see Mongal start to pop up more. King Shark is pretty present right now anyways with the Suicide Squad. But we're going to see these obscure characters start to pop up a lot more because of this movie. And that's exciting to me because I really, I'm reading the Joker War right now in the Batman books. So Batman, Detective Comics, and then like Nightwing, Harley Quinn, the Bat family books. You've got this crossover called the Joker War. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm enjoying it enough. I like Joker stories, but I'm thinking to myself, how many Joker stories have we had just in the past few years? We recently had Endgame, Batman Endgame, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and that was like the definitive Joker story. So I like the idea of bringing up some rogues that don't get a lot of exposure in movies like this because they are going to now get exposure in the comics. So that's great. Harley looks great in this. I was a fan of Birds of Prey. It had its problems, but I was a fan. I was a fan of the first Suicide Squad. It was covered in problems. It had problems sprinkled all over it, but I was a fan of it, mostly because of the character interpretations and the character interactions. And I love Margot Robbie's take on Harley Quinn, be it Suicide Squad, be it Birds of Prey. She looks great in this. She looks great in this. I think that going with the Arkham inspiration is a fantastic idea. Make a separate video about Idris Elba as Bloodsport, but who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? I was sure it was going to be Bronze Tiger or Vigilante. Bronze Tiger has a long history with the Suicide Squad. Vigilante has popped up recently in the Arrowverse. Nobody's ever heard of Bloodsport except for comic book fans. And here's the funny thing about Bloodsport. I'm going to talk about this in a video, but here's the funny thing about Bloodsport. There's been two Bloodsports, and he pops up in Superman comics. The first Bloodsport was an African American Vietnam War vet who man, it's been a long time since I read the story. It was like Superman #2, I think, maybe #3, but he started shooting up Metropolis, and Superman had to stop him. And then the second Bloodsport was actually a white dude, supremacist, who was attacking black people in Metropolis, prominent black people in Metropolis, including Ron Traub, Daily Planet reporter. So I think that's an interesting angle to take Bloodsport, having Idris Elba. Now, like I said, the original Bloodsport was played by was portrayed as an African American man who was a Vietnam War vet. So I'm sure that's the one that they're gonna be portraying on the screen. But it's interesting when you think about the fact that Bloodsport as a character probably has had more appearances as a white supremacist who wants to take out African Americans. I love the new look for Rick Flag. I love seeing Captain Boomerang get some love. Jai Courtney, that was my favorite role that Jai Courtney has ever been, and I love that. Polka Dot Man looks crazy. I love the King Shark sequence where we see him pick up the dude and get ready to eat him. That's King Shark, guys. That's King Shark. So I think James Gunn has a very strong understanding of what makes a good comic book movie. We've seen it in Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy was a lot better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Personal opinion, but that's what I think. But both those movies have shown that he has an exceptional understanding of what it takes to make a good comic book movie. And I think we're going to see some very strong storytelling here as far as individual character arcs, as far as just story structure, right? The building building action, climax, falling action. I think we're going to see. I know it sounds funny talking about story structure in an elementary way, but so many movies get it wrong. They get just the basic story structure of how you tell a story wrong. The first Suicide Squad was one of them, and I think that James Gunn gets it, and I think he gets these characters, and I think he embraces the oddity of these characters, because all these characters are really strange. And another thing that I think we're going to see is I think we're going to see a bloodbath. I do. I think we're going to see most of these squad members not make it out alive. And I've got my ones that I already hope survive. We know Harley Quinn's going to survive. I've got others that, I'll definitely want to see Idris Elba's Bloodsport make it and get him signed on to a long-term deal. But I'm sure that when I want to see Jai Courtney survive as Captain Boomerang. He is one of those characters that he's a Suicide Squad staple. If you read Suicide Squad comics, Captain Boomerang is a part of almost every team. So definitely want to see him survive. So yeah, I'm watching it, thinking to myself, watching this trailer, thinking to myself, who's not going to make it? And is it interesting that Mongal makes it to the screen before Mongol does? That's interesting to me, because Mongol is such a big Superman character and Mongal is such a minor character. But guys, I'm super excited for this. Might be just as excited for this as the Batman, if not more, because I'm such a fan of Suicide Squad. So overall, like I said, this wasn't really a trailer. This was more of like an announcement trailer, like, hey, we're making this, it's coming. So what did you think of what we saw in this? What did you think of the panel? This James Gunn said. Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your take. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.